they're so flexible in their jobs, they can work away at home, away from the job, and then they can.
Oh, I see. So
certain times of the month, they'll be able to be on site. That's what I've heard.
well, thank you for that $1 million question, because my husband and I have asked a realtor, and, you know, I was talking to Alan Mills and other people, and like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't. And I ask that question a lot, and that's the only answers I've gotten is
Okay.
people are still working other places, but they're able to do it from Idaho. So.
Well, and this whole environment fosters that, that ability to, so we should have thought of that, right? That's not really helping that business sector of it, I guess. I'm glad somebody's rolling somewhere. And as long as they keep building quality houses, I mean, it's not over. That's not what you care.
I care more about what they're bringing with them, but
yeah,
as long as they move Idaho because they like Idaho and they want to keep Idaho the way it is.
yeah, yeah.
I keep telling that, but everyone I wanted to go on. And
Exactly.
I've been told multiple times, well, even if there's a national crash, we think Idaho's still going to be going strong.
Wow. You know what I heard? Okay, this is totally gossip forward off the record.
We've got a few people on WebEx and,
Oh, well,
but yeah, I mean, you're free to say what you want.
well, it was just about the dynamics politically on what happened in November. And so there's an acquaintance that works with another man, his son. So we're getting that across the board. How reliable that is probably the same thing as we get on Wikipedia, but said that the military component of that is hearing that for I love it. It's fascinating. Predict that it will be the same re-election, but that it will be.
Yeah.
Have you heard that?
I think we're seeing it partly. I mean, you look at some of those cities, it's probably.
Well, I don't watch. I'm so fatigued by the instability, which is squared because I'm in politics. And so to watch that on the news, I hear about it and it goes, it's crazy.
It's hard to follow them.
Yeah.
Okay. Good morning. It is Friday, July 24th. Commissioner Van Beek, Commissioner White, we are in the Commissioner's meeting room. Monica Reeves is with us this morning, and we are here for a public hearing. And that is to consider a request by Claire and Joanne Levitt Trust for a conditional rezone, and it's case number CR2019-0019. We have one individual here in the meeting room signed up to speak. Jen Almeida, we see that you're on the line. Patricia Nielsen. There is a call-in user. The first number's 541231. Would you identify yourself, please?
That's probably Kyle Dunning, 231-3628.
Okay. Are you wishing to speak, Kyle?
No, I don't think it's necessary.
Okay, very good. Thank you. And let's see. Another call-in user at 208-982 are the first numbers.
Yes, that's Braden Dunning, and I don't think I need to speak as well.
Neither one of you. So, okay. So, I guess then it's TJ, so we'll just swear everybody in. Monica?
Jen Almeida, Tricia Nilsson, TJ Wellard, do you swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? So help you God?
I do.
Okay. Jen, if you would, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There are no late exhibits for this case. I'll go through a summary of the project. The property is 63.68 acres, and the applicant is requesting to rezone approximately 30 of those acres. Currently zoned agriculture. Future land use map also indicates agriculture, and it is not located within an impact area. As shown on the screen, the subject property is designated as agriculture. As you can see, agriculture is designated in the white. Staff has reviewed this request and found that as restricted by the development agreement and the creation of two 15-acre parcels would still meet the intent of agriculture, as a majority of the land outside of the home site would be retained for agricultural use. The surrounding area is primarily agriculture in nature, as shown on the aerial photograph. There are some parcels to the north boundary of the subject property that, although they are zoned ag, they are utilized for residential home sites. Within 1 mile of the subject property, there are approximately three platted subdivisions for a total of 98 lots. On the screen is Exhibit 7, which shows the zoning map showing the property zoned agriculture. The property does have frontage on State Highway 55, and the newly created parcels will share an access onto that highway. They will have to meet ITD requirements, and as indicated by ITD, the applicant will have to properly document the existing approach and also to recognize that that would also be used for the new lots. The property is located within a nitrate priority area. As requested by the applicant, platting would not be triggered for this proposal if it were to be approved. So the requirements of Southwest District Health would be an approval document submitted with the building permit. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of the conditional rezone on June 10th of this year. Staff has found that it meets the standards of review for a conditional rezone, and as restricted by the development agreement is also harmonious with the comp plan. Staff has provided findings of fact, conclusions of law and order for the board's consideration found in Exhibit 1 of the staff report. That concludes my summary, and I will stand for questions.
Jen, I'm looking at the map on Exhibit 7, Madam Chair, and this is on the east side of Highway 55, Sunny Slope Road. So is it located, is the division like this and separation out in orchards? It's actively being farmed, correct?
Commissioner Van Beek, I believe it is currently being farmed. The applicant's representative may be able to clarify that a little bit more as to the current use of the property. From the aerial Exhibit 5, it looks like it is being farmed.
And the applicant is not proposing to sell this, it's they're just want to build a new home. That's maybe a question for the representative.
Commissioner Van Beek, it's my understanding that the applicant and another family member are wanting to build a home on each of the 15-acre home sites.
Okay, and they can continue to, with the current farming operation on the 15 acres as presented is what you've indicated.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I have no further questions. TJ, name and address, please.
Madam Chair, Jay Weller, 17842 Sand Hollow Road, Ohio 607. I'd like to thank Jennifer. She did a fantastic job spelling out the facts of the case. So I'm going to touch on the human aspect of the case. Mr. Levitt lost his wife, and he's moved to Utah to be closer to his family. And this is Claire Levitt's property. So he sold off the house, and then he has this farm ground listed for sale. The Dunnings, who are a family that's involved in the wine industry, have seen this, and they would like to make this their home. Mr. Dunning has 2 sons that would be living on the property with him, and they would like to convert this into wine grapes. Currently, it's in Manton. I think one field was in Wheat. So yes, it is being currently farmed. Their proposal would split off these two 15-acre pieces that will be conditionally rezoned to rural residential, but they want to be able to build a house on each one of those pieces for each child. They're going to restrict the area where they want to build so that the least interfere with the agricultural purposes. But with grapes, it's fairly easy because you don't have to worry about drain ditches and corridors and that type of thing with grapes. But so that's the theory behind it. We will abide by all conditions of the development agreement. We work with staff to develop those to mitigate any issues with the farming or access. Everything will go through the proper processes to get approval for Southwestern Trail. And that's what we're looking at doing, so I can answer any questions.
I do have one, just because I'm not clear on it, and it's 63.68 acres in total. They're going to take 30 acres and put it in two 15-acre pieces and for two houses, a building permit for each 15-acre parcel. And Mr. Levitt's wife died, and that would be the Claire and Joanne Trust, right? And Dunning is he's going to purchase the property? I'm not sure on that. What is that?
Yes, the Dunnings are in the process of a contract of purchasing the property.
Okay. So it's his children.
It's Mr. Dunning's children.
Mr. Dunning's children. Okay, I just didn't get all of that straight. Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, thank you for that, TJ. I apologize. You provided information that is the answer to some of my questions initially in Exhibit 2. And so, do you have anything from the Dunnings that, and maybe that's not necessary, but I guess I'm just asking, it's a great transition because grapes would fit into that Dunning Close region for the Williamson, for all of that is on that corridor. But you don't have anything in here with intent from the Dunnings?
Are you referring to the fact that they're going to do the 215 acres, or
the continuation of ag? I guess it was what I was talking about, because as we talk about real estate and that as the commodity that it is,
it's in the development agreement, or is that in Exhibit B? Exhibit 6. It's Exhibit B of Exhibit 16. Is that correct, Jen?
Madam Chair, yes, the draft development agreement is Exhibit 16 in your packet. The conditions
Okay.
of approval are in Exhibit B of that document. That would restrict the development of the site as proposed by the applicant. So
Exactly.
2 15-acre lots.
And then it says in the next, in number 3, it shall be located on no more than the home site will be 2 acres of the site. The remainder of the parcel shall be utilized for agricultural purposes.
thank you, Madam Chair, that does
Yep,
satisfy my
yes.
question.
Madam Chair, if I can just make a comment. I am representing the Claire and Joanne Levitt Family Trust, but I am also representing the Dunnings as well. So our letter of intent is directly related to their request in this.
Okay.
The whole intent is just to be able to get those 2 building permits, and that will not take any more than 4 acres of the total 63 that it will be remaining in agriculture.
Okay, and so to follow up on the chair's question, they're purchasing the whole 63, not just the 30, and then 2 acres each, so 4 acres total out of the 30 that they want to rezone.
Madam Chair and Commissioner Van Beek, yes, that is the intent, that is the agreement that the farm ground, and we specifically address this to have the 2 15-acre parcels because, and leave the parcel, what's shown as parcel 3 on the conceptual map. I don't know what exhibit, can't see what exhibit number it is.
Okay, it's up here on the record of survey.
Yeah, so we specifically only took the 2 15-acre parcels and left the remaining in ag ground. So that's not conditionally being rezoned. I think it's 34 acres. That's not being rezoned specifically for the purposes that we can continue to use that for the allowed uses in the ag zone.
Thank you for answering the question.
Okay. So I think maybe I didn't understand you, Commissioner Van Beek, but I wanted to clarify this too. Did you say that only 4 acres are going to be rezoned?
No, only
Okay.
4 acres would be dedicated to the building of the 2 houses.
Okay. Okay. I just wanted to make sure because I thought, no, they're going to rezone those. So, cool.
And TJ, thank you for that, because sometimes, and we do have that, and we don't even get to control it. We get to look at what's being presented, and it's no secret that a lot of ag ground is being taken for different purposes, and we're trying to present orderly development, so the due diligence and intent, at least as much as we can control that and not having this turned around and turned into commercial or gravel pit or anything else that would be a conditional use on there. It looks to me, Madam Chair, like we could have discussion if you're at that point where we could close public testimony. We're actually not, because we have people on the line.
But the 2 individuals, nobody else is wishing to speak. And that was the 2. So there was nobody else wishing to speak. So we're good to close public testimony.
I move then that we close public testimony.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. I think this is a very straightforward request. And as you go through the land use goals and the agricultural policy and land use, and the applicant is voluntarily entering into a development agreement, which will keep this in ag use. And it's restricted by a development agreement also for 2 15-acre parcels, and with a building permit on each one and on each 15 acres of property. So I think it's very straightforward.
And Madam Chair, are we able to ask the question for staff? Jen is still able to answer the question.
Jen is still on.
Okay. Jen, can you address number F in there where it says that ITD has indicated that the existing approach has not been properly documented and how that will be handled?
Talking. Oh, Jen, you're muted.
Oh.
There.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
So I'll start over. ITD is trying to make sure that through this process that the approach is properly documented and approved through their department. So as conditioned in the development agreement, they would have to make sure that that is done. And also at the time of building permit, they do have to have an approach permit from ITD to be able to get a building permit.
And you envision that the ingress egress will be directly off of Highway 55. That's really the only way they can do that, right?
Correct. And that is the proposal, that they utilize one access or one approach onto the highway.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, I appreciate the willingness of the applicant to be bound by a development agreement to retain, and I like, as I've indicated already with the representative, that this will be fit in with the current use in that area. And so to the best of our ability, we are trying to follow the land use goals for achieving balance, orderly development, preserving ag, and allowing new people that have a new flavor. So
Yes. I think that it keeps it in that there's ag all around, and it keeps it moving forward in that direction, preserves that. So I'll make a motion that we approve the request by the Claire and Joanne Levitt Trust for conditional rezone. In that case is number CR 2019-0019, and to sign the findings of fact, conclusions of law and order ordinance. Is the development agreement, do we have that also to sign, Jen?
Madam Chair, for the record, I would like to have the board set a later date to sign the written decisions. The applicant is not in state, and so they need time to sign the development agreement and have their signature notarized. So
Okay.
a motion can be made to approve, and I believe Monica has a date to sign the written decision and development agreement.
August 10th at 9:30, sign those documents.
Okay,
Okay, Madam Chair, I'll second the motion to have those documents signed August 10th
At 9:30.
at 9:30. Thank you, Monica.
very good. Okay. Moved and seconded to approve with the signing on August 10th at 9:30. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, very good. Anything else, Jen?
No, Madam Chair, thank you.
Thank you very much. That will conclude, oh, Monica.
Are we good to sign the findings, and then on the 10th, it's the development agreement and the ordinance? Is that right?
Monica, I would want everything signed on the 10th, so the findings,
three. Okay.
ordinance,
Nope.
and development agreement.
Thank you. I'm sure that was clear. I just missed it.
That's okay.
That's okay.
Okay, we're good. That will conclude this meeting. Thanks, TJ.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jen.
To answer your
Thank
question
you.
on the fact that it's so old, I see one, it is a road permit so they can track it.
Thank you for that. And